Have you ever lost something you prayed so hard to keep? Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was an opportunity. Maybe it was money, peace, confidence, or a dream you once believed would come true. And now, deep inside, you are wondering, God, why did you allow this to happen? But today, God wants you to hear this clearly. What you lost does not mean your story is over. There are things you cannot recover by your own strength. There are doors you cannot reopen. There are people you cannot bring back. And there are seasons you cannot return to. But God can restore what you thought was permanently gone. The Bible reminds us that God is able to restore what has been lost. He can take broken pieces and create something beautiful again. You may look at your life and see emptiness. God sees space for something new. You may see the ending. God sees the beginning. You may see what was taken away. God sees what He is preparing to place in your hands. Sometimes God allows something to leave because He knows it was never meant to stay forever. You cried over it. You prayed over it. You asked God to change the situation. And when nothing changed, you thought God had forgotten you. But He had not forgotten you. He was working in a place you could not see. There was a reason for the delay. There was a reason for the closed door. There was a reason you had to walk through that painful season. You may not understand it today, but one day you will look back and say, "Now I understand why God didn't let me stay there." Maybe you lost a relationship that you thought would last forever. You gave your heart. You gave your time. You gave everything you could. And when it ended, you felt like a part of you disappeared with it. But God says, "I can heal what they broke." Your value was never determined by who stayed. Your worth was never decided by who left. You are still loved. You are still chosen. You are still valuable. And your future is still in God's hands. Maybe what you lost was an opportunity. You worked hard. You were ready. You thought the door was finally opening. But suddenly, the opportunity disappeared. Someone else got the position. Someone else received the blessing. Someone else seemed to move forward while you were standing still. And you asked, "God, when will it be my turn?" Remember this: a closed door is not always a rejection. Sometimes it is protection. God may be keeping you from something that looks good because He knows something better is coming. You don't need to chase what God has closed. You need to trust the one who can open the right door at the right time. Maybe you lost money. Maybe you experienced financial difficulties. Maybe you made mistakes and now you regret them. But your mistake does not have to become your identity. God can teach you through the loss. God can give you wisdom through the struggle. And God can rebuild what you thought was impossible to rebuild. Restoration doesn't always mean getting back exactly what you lost. Sometimes restoration means receiving something greater, a stronger heart, a deeper faith, a better opportunity, a healthier relationship, a new purpose, a peace that money cannot buy. God may not restore your past exactly as it was. He may restore your life in a way you never imagined. So stop measuring God's goodness by what you lost. Start looking at what He is still doing. You are still here. You are still breathing. You still have a future. You still have purpose. And if God has kept you through every storm you've already survived, He can carry you through this one too. There is something powerful about trusting God when you cannot see the outcome. Faith says, "I don't understand, but I trust you." Faith says, "I don't see the door, but I believe you are preparing one." Faith says, "I lost something, but I believe you can restore me." And maybe today, you are standing in a season where everything feels uncertain. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. You don't know how your situation will change. You don't know where the answer will come from, but God knows. He sees the entire picture, while you can only see one small piece. So don't give up because of what you lost. Don't stop praying because the answer has taken longer than expected. Don't stop believing because your circumstances look impossible. Your story is still being written. The chapter you're in right now is not the final chapter. One day, you may look back at this painful season and realize that God was preparing you for something greater. The tears you cried were not wasted. The prayers you whispered were not ignored. The nights you spent wondering were not meaningless. God saw every tear. God heard every prayer. God knew every disappointment. And He has not forgotten you.